Well, that'll do it. There we go. Check, check, 1, 2. Now we're back. Thank you. I was about to say, please let me know if any of my audio levels are off or sounding weird, or you can't hear them at all, because we're back. We're here now. Thank you very much. We have returned Halo Nerd 4. You've done me a great service of getting this microphone turned on. But thank you and welcome. My name's Ryan. This is WGNR. We are doing a hobby hangout here today. It's not the stream we had planned, but it is the stream we're doing, and it's going to be a lot of fun because we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on behind the scenes right now in WGNR world. We got some announcements, and this is as good a time as any to make them, so you'll be the first to hear, which is fun. And we're going to paint some fun models here today. We're going to paint up a power armored Star Paladin Cross. Come on, camera focus. There we go. Ooh, got her in the sub assembly right now. Building up a Paladin from the Brotherhood of Steel command box for Wasteland Warfare. That's Star Paladin Cross there. We've got the power armored helmeted version because helmets are just way cooler than not helmets. And we're going to get into painting in just a moment. If you're tuning in for expecting this to have been a episode of Fistful of Neutrons, you are not, well, you are in luck because we're still streaming, but you're not in luck because we're not doing that show right now today. Raj had to do baby duty. There was a miscommunication in our group thread on what was happening. Short story long, it is Raj's baby's birthday. Happy birthday, Kai, Mr. Gunner himself. He is turning all of, I think, 2 or 3 today, which is super exciting. So we had to push the stream, obviously. But we will be back with that show in 2 weeks. And we have another stream coming a week from now that we're going to talk about in just a minute. But we'll talk about that in a second while we get painting. First and foremost, what are we doing? We're painting Star Paladin Cross, as mentioned. If you're a longtime fan of the channel, then you'll know that Fallout 3 has a very special place in my heart as my favoritist of the favoritist of the installments. I know it's not the best one story-wise, but it's the one that got me hooked, and it's just so good. And Star Paladin Cross is one of the companions that you can get in that game if you're on the good old heroic track and doing the, well, you can't really do the bad guy story, but you know what I mean. If you've got the good karma version, you can get Cross on your team, and she is a super sledge wielding beast. I've got her in the sub assembly here just to make her a little bit easier to paint because this resin super sledge, I'm not going to be wanting to break that before we get it pinned onto the model here, so we're going to do that in a separate step. But she's a super cool companion, and I've got the helmet on her here so I can use her as any number of different variants of generic paladin out there in the wasteland. And specifically, I'm going to be using her in an upcoming game of Fallout Factions that we're going to be playing next week, and that is the stream we're going to be playing, and more on that in just a moment. But we are painting this gal up. I'm going to do her to match up sort of my current power armor scheme. We've got the leader of Lion's Pride here, Sarah Lyons, in this similar scheme, as well as just a generic big old Gatling laser wielding knife. So I'm going to do her up in a way that sort of matches these two, because this crew is going to be going with me across the Rocky Mountains next week, myself and Grant, in fact, to visit the Play On Tabletop Studios for a live stream playing Fallout Factions, me versus Town Nick, Brotherhood of Steel versus Super Mutants. Ooh, baby! It is going to be a blast. So I've decided that Nick needs a proper commander for his team to lead up his crew of Brotherhood of Steel. So we're going to make up a paladin for him here today. Very exciting things. How do I do this power armor scheme currently? Well, I've got her dry brushed here. Prime black, did a quick gray, and then a sort of a highlight of white as well, dry brush, just to bring out some details, more for the stream than anything. The pure black models just don't really pick up as well. You can see the autofocus is having a hard enough time as it is with no color on this bad boy. So so I just kind of gave it this this zenithal highlight, more for the base and just for the visuals of the stream. It's not going to matter so much with the paint job that we're doing. It's mostly dry brushing and stippling, that sort of thing. But it will add some depth to the model. So what do we got here? I've got a very nasty, cruddy bottle of Darkstone by Army Painter. I had a Nuln Oil spill in my painting tray, and well, this is what happened to that. So we've got the Darkstone here on a dry brush, but dry brush is a bit of a misnomer because we're doing damp brush, what I like to call here, more of an overbrush. So I've got my wet palette here, and before loading up the brush, I just wet it a bit on the palette so it absorbs some of that moisture. If you have a sponge on hand, you can do the same thing, sort of just on the side. And then once you got that, same deal, just have a little bit on the brush. And I like to work it in just onto the corner first. And you can see I got this little bit of sprue glued up here. And I use that to kind of get off some of the excess, so I'm not loading up the model too much. I just cut this off from the T51 kit, glued it on my cutting mat. Boom, way to go. And now we got our brush loaded. Who do we got in the chat today before we get going? We've got Halo Nerd 4. Thank you again for getting my mic turned on. Well, come in, thank you. Daily Beagle. I bought your t-shirt, Daily Beagle says. You bought one of our t-shirts? Well, thank you so much, Daily Beagle. That is amazing. And your name is what I think is a play on the Daily Bugle, which is I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I have a shelf of Spider-Man collectibles to the side, so I approve of that. And you're purchasing of our t-shirt. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. If you're in the chat today, let me know what you're working on. As mentioned, I'm painting up Star Paladin Cross to come with me across the Rocky Mountains to go visit Play on Tabletop and play with Tau Nick. But let me know what you're working on. Let me know how your holidays were. Did you get any good minis in your holiday haul? Did you take advantage of any Boxing Day sales to get anything you've been looking for? If you're here in Canada, did you use that tax-free bonus to get yourself some Warhammer? I know I sure did. That was my Boxing Day treat to myself. So there you go. It's grown-up Lego, right? But anyway, we've got the Darkstone on here. I'm just going over a pretty generous overbrush. Just trying to get whatever's that darker gray on over top of the black from our dry brush prime, just to now look sort of this off brown sort of color. Still try to keep some of that brighter highlight still through. We get a little bit of this on a little bit of everywhere. You see now we're looking, you can see where we hit and where we haven't. It already has kind of that just distressed sort of look to it. Just giving that some sort of color for our next layer to grab onto. I'll try to do this so much that the camera can pick it up as well, which is not having a fun time, I think, with my fucking crazy cutting mat here. How were the holidays for y'all a days? Mine were good. I went to Ontario to visit my family. It was a wonderful time. Oh, hold on. There we go. That's better. It was a wonderful time until my flight got delayed. Flight home back to Calgary got delayed by 3 full days. And I encountered the most unhelpful desk agent of any airline ever. It was like, have you ever encountered someone who's like a caricature of a job? Like they should be in like a bad 80s movie, like telling, not that I'm the main character, telling the main character, if it were their story, that like, sorry, it's regulation. That was the end of my Christmas holidays. But you know what? It meant that I got to spend a couple more days with my sister and her family, so what do you do? Not the end of the world. But we've got this guy here with a pretty decent looking dry brush, more or less all the way across the model. So now instead of a weird off brown, or sort of a weird off gray, he's a weird off brown. It's harder getting inside these smaller nooks and or crannies. So we're going to bust out the tiny dry brush. Same thing, get it a little bit damp on the pad first. Damp brushing, not dry brushing, because then you get streaks. And now I can get inside his little crotch. There we go. Looking good. But yes, we are going to the greater Vancouver area, myself and Grant, in a couple days' time, to go and do a live stream on Play on Tabletop, on the Play on Tabletop channel, I should say, with Play on Tabletop, sponsored by our friends at Modifius, where we're going to show off some Fallout factions. It's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to play 2 games back to back, streaming on Thursday at noon Pacific time, I do believe. But details will be coming out on the Instagrams and all the usual places very soon, but very excited. We've got Nick, who's going to be playing up the Brotherhood of Steel here. And I myself will be busting out my Super Mutants, which I've not played in some time and never played in factions, so it'll be my first go around with them in this game system. So I'm super excited. And we're going to show off the whole dang system, the list building, picking your crew's quests, choosing your what am I trying to say? Scenarios, the whole dang thing. We're going to have a big old battlefield, as you can see. My shit I need to do table over there. A very large building, as well as some other urban scenery, which will be painted up this weekend. So it's going to be a grand time. So tune in. We'll have more details, like I mentioned, coming very soon. But Grant's coming for the ride. We're going to have a great time. Of course, we're going to film a video of our experience in the whole adventure there, how it all goes, how it all went, all of the above, and should be a glorious time. There we go. Oh, there's a little spot. I could go a little harder there. On the inside of his leg. Looking good. I'm going to move over now to the arm. Make sure we're keeping step so we don't have one weird looking arm when we finally put her back together. Just going to wet this brush a little bit more. Oh, that's too much. If you get it too damp, just keep a paper towel on hand. Suck up some of that excess. You don't want it to be dry, otherwise you're going to get those streaks. And try to just work the corner, sort of one sort of edge of the brush. I got my little degreaser on the side. And let's see what we got. Go. Daily Beagle says, picked up Tabitha and Raoul for the Super Mutants. Ooh, nice. Yeah, Night can get the job done. I will be playing some Nightkin models in the factions games next week, which will be super fun. I don't have Tabitha or Raoul, though, unfortunately. The Raoul model's pretty cool. One of the more underrated companions, I think, in New Vegas. In my humble opinion. Just keep a comparison here. Oh, yeah. Looking good. Okay. Oh, with our first layer of brushing done there. Let's see if I can get these at the same focus. There we go. We are looking pretty darn good. So you can see we still have a little bit of the higher sort of bits of the light catch in there. We still have a little bit of those highlights, which are going to help with the next step. Now normally, well not normally, but with these other two models that I've done similarly in this fashion, had a slightly different metallic that I was using. So this one comes off a little bit brighter, I find. So I'm going to try to maybe dilute it a little bit with some wash, actually, with some flesh wash to maybe give it a little bit more. I used Games Workshop Canoptek alloy, I believe, on some of these for some stippling, and it has kind of like a bronze sort of finish to it. So they're not going to look exactly the same, but I think if I go slow with the metallics and stipple it in rather than a full-on dry brush, should be able to achieve the same, if not a similar effect. And I'm thinking I might do some weathering on her as well, just to kind of give her a little bit more battle damage compared to the other two, to kind of show off being sort of like the leader of this crew. So that might also help with kind of blending, excuse me, the blending of the different models. Steve-O Hobbies, good to see you, pal. Looking good. It's been a minute, Steve-O Hobbies. How you doing? Good to see ya. Let me know if you're working on anything in the chat as well. Quick hydration break. And let's get back to it. So we've got this Army Painter gunmetal. Same sort of deal. Got it on the smaller dry brush here. Gonna get a whole whack of it off before I start going on my little sprue here, because I don't want to overdo this as we go. In fact, I'm gonna start on the back because, well, nobody's gonna be looking at his backside, right? Oh, come on now, camera. Where are you focusing at? Where's your point? There we go. So we're just kind of brushing along. Oh, where'd my pile go? Here we go. A little bit more on the brush this time. And rather than using the edges like I was doing before, oh, no, still too much on the brush this time. I'm going to get more off. That's better. And we're just doing a stipperoo. You can always put more. It's hard to take it back. In fact, I'm just going to keep little Miss Sarah Lyons here in my eyesight. Well, they're very similar, but not poses. So I kind of follow as I go. And we chip away. Glad to be here. Steve-O Hobbies says, painting up an apothecary. Ooh, for 40k Imperial Fists. Very nice. Imperial Fists. I recently played alongside an Imperial Fists player. Did a little local Warhammer League, had a team tournament, and teamed up 1,000 points each with another Space Marine player. It was a super good time. We won exactly one game, but it was a lot of fun. He had a bunch of Imperial Fist Dreadnoughts as like a charging forward line. It was a very like White Scars move of him, but I wasn't complaining. See, now we're just not even like, we're getting the edges, some of the main surface area, but the parts that are the main surface area, again, just trying to stipple in some texture as well as that sheen. I've seen some guys do some really like photorealistic, almost like Fallout power armor. We're like, don't really, it's more of like a non-metallic metal sort of style. It looks really cool. I've done it on a couple different models, but I don't know. There's something about metallics that just still like, I dig him. Maybe it's because I'm lazy. Maybe it's because I'm nostalgic. We'll call it that. But this technique I like, rather than doing, it's kind of like a somewhere in the middle between just, slapping a full metallic on, which doesn't look bad, and doing a non-metallic metal. Kind of gives you a little bit of the best of both worlds. Mr. Grimm says, just got all my Mothman cultists yesterday. Whoo, doggy. The Mothman is one of the more interesting rule sets recently, and it's been an interesting couple of months, which is why you've not seen any better known factions for a while. But won't bore you with the details. But short story long, they are one of the more interesting factions, and I need to do a deep dive on them. For both Fallout factions and Wasteland Warfare, in fact. Do the old comparison with Sarah here. Okay, so we're still got a ways to go to bring them up. We can be a little bit more generous than I'm being, I think. But I'm just really afraid of like crossing that threshold of going too metallic, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I gotta take it back with more of the brown. But whatever, let's quit playing safe. Yeah, that's more like it. But yeah, I find using that dark stone as sort of a base tone for this works to add to give the armor more of a feel that like that's the color it was, and maybe a little bit brighter, but over 200 years of sandstorms and laser fire. What you're seeing as the metallic now is sort of more of the natural, the matte finish worn off, if you will, So now we're looking more in that same sort of territory. Let's switch over to the arm again here, just so we're keeping up to pace. Got to think about what I'm going to do with the super sledge. I want to add some sort of flair to it. Because if the one and only Tau Nick is going to be using this in his army, I want this super sledge to pop. If you're just joining us next Thursday, in fact, at 12 p.m., I believe, Pacific time, if you tune into the Play on Tabletop YouTube channel, you will see myself square off against Tau Nick in a game of Fallout Factions. Nick playing Brotherhood of Steel, and myself playing Super Mutants. And this is going to be one of the dudes, or dudettes, in Nick's crew. And the following day, there will be a stream from the folks at Modifius. And one could potentially hypothesize that the two things might be associated in some way. A stream playing Brotherhood of Steel and Super Mutants for a game that currently has no rules for Brotherhood of Steel and Super Mutants. And then a stream from the company that makes the game the next day. I'm not saying anything, but I'm not saying anything. So there could be some fun things coming from Modifius very soon. Ooh, Josh Collins says, maybe little Tau marks on it in Tau colors. That's a fun thought. I wonder, somewhere in my box of stuff, my pile of shame, let's be honest, it's not a box of stuff, it's a pile of shame, are some Tau decals. There's a thought. Some sort of Tau-like insignia, perhaps, on the chest piece. Now you're thinking, Josh Collins. Now you are thinking. Okay. We are looking at about a good spot here. Not hating how this looks. Not even a little bit. I think it might be time to work on the base a little bit. Add some character to that. Mr. Grimm says, my face is melting like I'm grinning at the Covenant. That's too much good news. That is good news. It's going to be a rockin' good time. We're going to play 2 games back to back. We're playing Super Mutants Brotherhood of Steel. It's going to be a grand old time. We're going to do the progression system. So the first game we play, whoever wins, we get all our loot, all of our good stuff. We're going to level up our guys, and then we're going to go again directly afterwards. So we're just going to jump right into 2 games. It's going to be a ton of fun. So we'll have some details on exactly the when and all the things stuff. But next week, next Thursday, like I said, I believe 12 p.m. Pacific time, which is 1 hour earlier than Mountain time that I'm currently in. We're operating in like 4 different time zones right now. It's not ideal, but it's very exciting. It's very exciting times. And then there will be a stream from Adivius the following day. I believe it's going to be the painting stream with Callum and... His name escapes me. What's wrong with me? But not Ben. Either way, one of the other Modifius guys are going to have a stream the next day. And I think there's going to be some good news, Brotherhood of Steel rules and Super Mutants wise as well. So all kinds of fun things. And you will have noticed there was also the Fallout 76 reveal stream recently for the next half of Wave 10 with a bunch of sweet models coming there. So there's going to be brand new core boxes for the Survivors, the Raiders, Brotherhood of Steel, and Super Mutants, all coming this year, which is super exciting. And I want to say probably we'll see those fairly early in the year. I would imagine we're going to see... Well, they're all coming in Wave 10, so it's going to be large. I would imagine before the summertime we'll have all those boxes out, which is awesome. Because what's coming after that, I do not know. Normally, I have a little bit of an idea of what's coming in the next wave, but, dear viewer, I am leadless, whisperless, but that won't last long. Well, we are looking good here. I'm liking this. Do a comparison with Sarah. She's still got a little bit more sparkle to her, I think, but I think that's just because of the different metallic that was used overall. Plus, we're going to battle damage this guy a little bit, so we won't worry about that too much. But I think we should move on to the base. Get some colors going here. Add some pop and some character to this. You'll see the centaur squished on the base here. I thought it was very thematic, considering it's going to be used in a Brotherhood of Mutant battle, which is super good. Daily Beagle says, wishing there was an Alistair a 10-penny. There's a thought. Hey, I've never even stopped to consider to have an Alistair 10-penny model. But that would be a great choice. Big sniper rifle. Just being a General Dick. That would be a good one. More ghouls would be cool too, like the Metro ghouls from that quest line. That would be sick. Okay, well, let's get going on the base first and foremost here. Let's start with the earthen rocks. Going to take some. Been messing around with some different paint brands recently. Trying stuff I haven't tried before, been meaning to try. One of which being the Pro Acryl line from Monument Hobbies. Got the golden brown here, which a bunch of my paints, ow, jeez, I keep hitting my head on this thing. Okay, now we're getting serious. The hat's gone backwards. The a bunch of my paints dried up in transit during one of 4 moves this year. So I'm kind of working with a little bit of what I got. So I'm actually going to mix this a little bit to get it darker. So that's the golden brown there. I'm going to take some of the, again, from Pro Acryl, dark neutral gray. And just do a little mixeroo. Boop. Again, you can always add more. It's hard to take back. And it's even there. Too much. No, actually, once that's mixed, it's not bad. Okay, that's actually perfect. I lied. Ha! I meant to do that. Narrator. He didn't. But let's see what happens here. Using our bigger brush, regiment brush. I found that this Monument Hobbies stuff, like the coverage of it, like she goes. It's a fast paint. Yes, Monument Hobbies is the shiz, Steve-O says. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. I have to say, the finding the, oh, I have to readjust this camera here because I was in dry brush mode. Oh. Yeah, the it covers like hot damn. Like she a fast paint. The like you do not even really need to water it down in some situations, I find. Which, I mean, is good. Not all the time, but in general, it's pretty great. Seems to be like a coverage being like the it paint thing these days. That's what folks are looking for, like that milky smoothness, creamy, if you will. Great line of fluorescents and metallics too. Steve-O Hobby says, well, now I have to try them out. I've not found, well, I guess some of the AK interactive stuff, but fluorescents, I haven't found any, like, I haven't found the fluorescent, whether it's brand or whatever it may be, that's like really like zonked me. The AK stuff I've enjoyed. Like I've tried a couple, like, I don't even know what the names of the brands are, you know, more like not Turbo Dork, but like kind of in that sort of vein of more like boutique-y kind of paints companies. Like stuff I've just like seen, like, oh, I'll give this a try. And I've never been fully satisfied. But I will check that out. That is a good tip. Howdy, folks. Frank M says, howdy, Frank M. Welcome to the stream. Hope your holidays were merry and bright, if that's a thing you enjoy. And that 2025 is treating y'all well so far. I cannot complain. Sometimes I still do. As is my right. We're getting the Paladin on the go here. She's looking pretty spicy. Because we are heading west across the prairies. Well, not the prairies. We're already on the prairies. We're heading across the Rockies, myself and Grant, to do some battling in the Play on Tabletop Studios. Brotherhood of Steel versus Super Mutants Fallout Factions. And yes, today was supposed to be a Fistful of Neutrons episode, and if that's what you were expecting, well, we will be back with that show in 2 weeks. But Raj had baby daddy duty, and if there's anything that we are, it is a family company. But we're going here. getting these. Ooh, yeah, okay. So we'll let that dry there. Get it in sort of the nooks and crannies for the base. In the meantime, since we're more or less done with the dry brushing, I'm just going to do a quick camera adjustment. Oh, this one. There we go. Yeah. Whoa. There we go. So I can get a little bit more angle and elbow room on this bad boy. / bad girl. Sweet. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. There we go. A little bit less. Boom. Pa-pow. George Keith. How you doing, George Keith? Good to see ya. Well, what else we got on this base here? Well, we got a centaur. That's an obvious thing to do. We got some of the dark stone here from when we did the dry brush base layer on our power armor. So we got some of these cobblestones here. We'll pull out some of those. These are dark stones, and the name of the paint, well, it's right on the tin. It's right there. Trying to stay warm along the Gulf of Mexico. What's the weather like there, Georgie? I know there's been some crazy storms on the Great Lakes recently. And California is obviously a holy shit situation. Big concerns for the folks out there. Unusually cold. There you go. Bit chilly for someone who likes beach weather. Hey, there you go. Well, we're a balmy -4 degrees in Calgary, Alberta today. Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Otherwise, I think that's like an apocalyptic event. Oh, but what do we got here? I had... yes. Elven skin, but... Oh, here we go. For the centaur, going to... You know what? I need a darker tone. Let's see what we got here. Oh, you know what? Let's go with a little contrast paint. It's probably a little bit more brown than I'm looking for, but Gore Grunta fur. I think I picked up... Have I even used this paint before? I think once. One time. But I think a lot of neat little look to our centaur here. For a base coat, anyway. Oh, yeah. That's nasty. I hate that. Yeah, I think I bought a box. I bought a box of Skaven with the intention of getting into a local Mordheim league, but life, as it does, gets in the way. I think I used this on a couple of the clan rats. Oh yeah, this color sucks. It's perfect. I mean, centaurs are like the most like horrific personification and the malification of like the wasteland run amok. So like, yeah, they should look fucking nasty. Like, look at that. What color is that? It's not good. I love it. I know those are contrasting statements, but that's a pretty good start. We're going to let that dry base-wise. Now let's shift gears over to the Super Sledge. Super Sledge. What to do with you to make you super cool? We'll do the handle. Well, first of all, it's bent to shit, but we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that with a glass of hot water later. If anyone ever has this issue, all you got to do is boil up some water. It's like a boiled cup, and keep another cup next to it with some ice water. Then you boil your Super Sledge for a moment or two. Take it out till it gets all nice and wiggly. Move it to where you want it. Put it in the ice bath. Let it cool. You might have to do that a couple of times, which I will probably have to do with this. I did it once, and it didn't quite go as far as it was like bent. I'm surprised it wasn't snapped when I opened the box, to be honest. And that would be really annoying to re-glue, and we're trying to avoid that. So, which is why we're doing this in a sub-assembly. So I'll have to straighten it out later is what I'm getting to. But you can do that once it's painted as well. So I'm not going to bother doing it now. So, I mean, it's a big old Super Sledge. It's in the game, it's metallic, but it's got, some of these like grips that are usually like a foam sort of fabric textile of some kind. But maybe we can do, but it's also usually like, it usually looks very similar to the armor, and I want to sort of, diversify that portfolio a little bit. So maybe we do it more in like a bronze rather than like a steel, or maybe we do it, maybe we could do like it's super heated or something. Maybe we could try, I think I have some fluorescent orange. We could try that. That could be kind of fun. Well, let's go with, let's get into the handle here first. I'm going to take some of this golden brown again, but not mixed in with that black. It does look like a dead rad roach, George Keith. It is one nasty, asty color. That's so good. So good. That's kind of perfect. But got this golden brown again. Now we're just going to get, find the focus. There we go. Trying to leave some of the shadow in there, so almost more of an edge highlight, really. Maybe it'll look fine. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But we'll start with the details here. Start with the non-metallic looking stuff. And see where that takes us. But 2025, we are here. We are queer. Get used to it. No, we are doing stuff. We are having this live stream with Play on Tabletop next week. It's going to be a ton of fun. First big project of the year. Kicking off already. Very exciting. We've got Season 3, A Fistful of Neutrons going. Next episode of that will be the following week. Again on Thursday. We've got more Fallout factions coming along. We're going to get some more Skyrim happening. The last year, 2024, was not the most productive that I've had since launching this channel, but that is due to the world being the way it is and life being a thing. Moving across the country and not having an actual studio space / place that I was living for basically a year made that difficult, living out of literally 2 suitcases, but kept the train rolling as best as possible. Thank you to Justin for keeping Season 2 running of Fistful of Neutrons on that one. If you're still in the chat, Justin. And if you're not in the chat, well, forget you. Well, let's see here. Got some brown on the shaft of the thing here, so let's just pull that away. Maybe it'll look fine. Oh yeah, I think I'm overthinking it. Gotta bounce. Best of luck on Play on Tabletop. I'll be rolling for you. Cheers, Steve-O Hobbies. Many thanks. Thanks for popping in Always good to have a chat. And yeah, hopefully you can catch the streams next time. We're going to have more hobby streams going as well as we get going through to the new year. So much obliged. Yeah, maybe the move. Because I mean, I could go like try to like make this thing kind of looking like almost like a flaming, you know, like it's red hot. I could give it a try on that. Might require some airbrush work, which I don't exactly feel like doing right now, but it would potentially look cool. Let's just throw some metallic on foist and see how it goes, see how it looks, and then maybe think about how we could do that without having to bust out the full airbrush. Wish I could cheat it. I could cheat it. Oh, we've frozen the camera here. One moment, folks. As we get the feedback. Or blood, George Keith. There's a thought. A gory hammer. That would be a way to go. What's going on with our camera here? One moment, folks. Unos momentos. I'm still connected here. We're just gonna reboot the camera. Oh no, not that. One moment. That's super annoying. Had this thing on all day. Okay, that's a good start, I think. Strange. One moment, folks. No, I've lost both cameras. That's not great. Can everyone still hear me? Oh, hey, there we go. I've got one of them back. That's a good start. Well, folks, I don't know what's going on with our stream camera, but I'm back, so that's something. The backup camera, unfortunately, is not hooked up, but if you can hear me, that's a positive. That's a step in the right direction. Well, in the meantime, well, I'll try to reboot this camera here. And if it doesn't come back, well, that's okay. We'll just chat for a little while longer while we get this going because, well, I was more excited than anything to have the opportunity to announce to the gang here that we're doing the stream next week. Because we're not doing the Fistful of Neutrons stream today, I figured, well, this would be a good way to do a little promotion of the upcoming stream that we've got next week and do a little painting in the process. But, of course, my camera has died, which is fun. And here I said at the beginning of the stream we were hoping for a moose-free 2024. 5. It's the weirdest thing. This camera, I had it literally on all day, and it just died for no reason at all now, which is fun. I'm going to try one more kick of the can here to get it reconnected. And that's where we're at. But if not, well, we will probably have to call it there. But unos momentos while I try to swap around the matrix here. So far, so good, I think. Oh, God. Okay, I think I got it back, but I don't know for how long. Hold on one moment while I do some other switching here. The very least, now because we're in this new space and I'm in this new apartment now, we have the ability to do more live streams again, which is super fun. And oh, come on. It wants to come back. Hey, we're back. We done did it. We done did it. Whoa, that's too bright. God. Whoa. Sweet Satan. We did it. We have returned somehow. Well, what we'll do is we'll just get this guy glued together here for now, and might have to call it a stream at that, because I don't know how much longer we'll have for this camera to go. But at the very least, we're gonna get this arm on now. Actually, we should wait one more step before we do that. Potentially 2 more steps. We're gonna use another new paint brand that I haven't used for a bit, or is new to me at least, the Two Thin Coats range from Mr. Duncan Rhodes. Another very enjoyable product to work with. This is the Elven Flesh, Elven Skin Tone, Elven Skin. Elven Skin. And we'll just go through with some highlights. On our centaur here. His weird stomach teeth. Gotta love that. I don't love it. Ooh, I'm liking how I'm not liking these colors playing together. Once we got sort of a base highlight, or a highlight on that base coat, I should say. Give it a wash of some kind. Well, let's make those tongues really nasty too. Like green. I like a green tongue. God damn it. And there it was. And there it was, the damn camera. Well, we got as much of it as we could out of there, but I think that's going to be the omen to call it the second time. It's not alive, Mr. Grimm. We lied. I lied to you. The moose has died, or the moose is alive. I don't know which one it is. Is it, if it's dead, does that mean we crashed? Or if it's alive, does that mean, I don't know. Either way, the moose has gotten us, but that is the way that the cookie crumbles. But folks, this has been a blast to get some painting here. I mean, there's still have ways to go on this model to do finish up the weapon, as well as the highlights, eyes, lenses, all those kinds of fun stuff. But we got the base coat here, and you got to see how I've been doing my newer power armor scheme. So you could too use that should you want to when the new box comes out very soon, because there's going to be two power armor models in there, bunch of lancers, bunch of scribes. The new Brotherhood of Steel box is going to slap, and I'm so excited to pick that up. All the new boxes look awesome, so definitely go check out the last review we had there of the second half of the watch both of the Wave 10 reveal streams that we did, and yeah, you'll see all of the new boxes that are coming there, from the core sets that you can use for both factions and Wasteland Warfare. It's gonna be bopping. But thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been an absolute blast. We're going to be back next week on a different channel for the first time, which is super cool. More details on the Play On WGNR crossover event of the century, or of the year, at least, because it's the beginning of the year, next week. So some details coming on that. And then the week after, we'll be back with more Fistful O-Neutrons. So thank you all again so much for tuning in and watching me paint and do some stuff. This has been a blast catching up with you folks, and we'll be back on Play On Tabletop in 1 week's time. So until then, stay frosty, stay tuned, stay sexy. And I'm going to figure out how to... Oh, no, can't end the stream somehow, but we'll figure out how to close it up here in a moment. But this has been, like I said, an absolute... Oh, here we go. There it is. My mouse was unplugged in that whole chaos. This has been fun. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for buying a shirt. Who bought the shirt? Was it not Mr. Grimm? It was Daily Beagle. Thank you so much for buying one of the shirts. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back in 1 week on Play On Tabletop. Bye-bye.